And welcome everybody. So good to see you all. This is quite the turnout that we quite honestly hadn't anticipated. So really great to see you all here. A bit about our virtual town hall series at India Bioscience. This was intended to be a series to foster contemporary conversations in the life sciences in India. Our first town hall series, the previous one, was on the Ramalinga Swamy re-entry fellowships, again with program officers related to the fellowships at DBT. So as you can imagine, that catered to a very different group in our life science community. That was postdocs looking to return to India on the fellowship as YIs. And this town hall is going to be on the i3c PhD program, which is being run or being led by RCB Faridabad. It's a DBT program, and our community for this virtual town hall is now aspiring PhD scholars, PhD researchers. So our town hall series fosters contemporary conversations and caters to a diverse segment of our life science community. So welcome all of you. If you have more ideas for this series, please write to us at hello@indiabioscience.org. We're always looking for new ideas to take forward. So this is a bit of preaching to the choir, but nevertheless, we are India Bioscience. We facilitate life sciences across India, and we are a DBT funded program in part. We also have our own external partnerships and sources of revenue. So we engage with the life science community across government, academia, industry, and our community comprises of researchers, young investigators, educators, PhD scholars, postdocs, and so on. So at India Bioscience, we do a lot of things. We operate across these different verticals, and you would be seeing updates on them on our website, social media, newsletter, email. We keep engaging with you in several different ways, and we always have a lot going on at India Bioscience. But broadly, this is how we structure our work. Most of our engagement is routed through digital means. This makes sense given the diversity and size of our country. So our website is your go-to place. We update it very regularly. We also have several in-person meetings, workshops, and talks across India, which you can keep abreast of through our website and social media. Our digital platforms include webinars, podcasts, short video snippets, and e-compendia, which we release at a very regular frequency. And we have some exciting ones lined up, exciting new ebooks lined up. And we also released one recently in the previous month. All right, so that being said, this is the team that gets all of it done across India and across our different programs, initiatives, and verticals. And one of the team members, Arushi, and I put together the virtual town hall series and are leading this one on the i3c program with RCB Faridabad. So don't want to take up too much of your time. We want to get to the meat of the matter very quickly, but this will be a 90-minute webinar. Dr. Sahu will now discuss the program in some detail. And then we have Sam Matthew and Divya Chandran, also from RCB Faridabad. And together, we will answer questions about the program. So does this sound good? Professor Sahu, Sam, and Divya, does this sound good to you?
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds good. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Excellent. Good to know. Good to know. And is our community ready? The aspiring PhD researchers who've joined, are you all ready to consume this information?
Yep.
Maybe a thumbs up in the chat window. Let us know you're there. Great. Nice to see the yeses and the thumbs ups. Good to see that my introduction hasn't caused people to flee the meeting room. People are still around. Well done. Thank you. We are excited about that. Okay, so I will stop slide sharing now, Professor Sahu. You share your slides, and we'll come back to this when we are doing the open question and answer. Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good. Yes, please share your slides. I think we would have made you co-host. Yes, great.
So please let me know if you see my screen.
We do. Excellent. Please go ahead.
Okay. My slides visible? Do you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Sahu.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this town hall meeting on i3c BRIC-RCB PhD program. And first of all, I want to thank Dr. Karishma and Arushi for putting this together for us. Thank you so, so much. And the whole idea is to actually convey what this program is all about. So, students can take decision based on the information they have, here as well as others, and see what they would like to do. So my job today is to just, tell you what this program is all about and why we have even thought about this program, how this program is different from the other programs and what we have to really offer you, right? So, as the, names, you can see i3c, right? This is basically three I's here and BRIC and RCB. So BRIC is the Biotechnology Research and Innovation Council, which has been recently formed, where all 13 DBT institutions have come under one umbrella, right? So when we say BRIC-RCB, it means the 15 different DBT institutions coming together. So 13 of the BRIC institution, DBT, ICGB, and RCB, all are part of this program. So let me take you through this program, right? So the first question is, why i3c BRIC-RCB PhD program? What is the need of this? How this is different? Why this is even required? Why we have thought about this program, right? So the thing is that if you start reading literature, pick up any good journal and you will see that the PhD model which we have is of the last century, right? We haven't changed. And this is no longer really fit for today's kind of education and the needs we have, right? So why this is, the question is that then why this is not a fit in today's era? The thing is that what we really need is that we need to train the student in cross-disciplinary working environment with the larger teams together, right? This is important, their exposure, that they are not working in one single PI-driven lab, but then they are exposed to much bigger problem, although they are doing part of that, but then they are doing, and then working in a cross-disciplinary. And if you pick up any good paper now in today's, research paper, you will see that the teams are bigger. They are coming from different directions to answer that particular problem, right? And if the students are not exposed to that, it would be difficult after their PhD to think about this. So right now, let's start it, right? And this is also what is thought globally, is that one needs to change the program, right? So in India, we thought, why not us to start this, right? And therefore, the individual driven dissertation which are there, they don't really fit in today's environment, and that's where the need is, right? So the question is then what we really have to offer. So when this thought started, everyone, all the directors of the DBT, all different 15 DBT institutions, I can tell you, they came together. We had a brainstorming along with the secretary DBT, and we worked on this, for a long time. I can tell you that this didn't come like in a week. A lot of discussions, went through this to really think what is this program should be all about, what we should provide. And therefore, we thought that we shouldn't miss anything which is required now, right? So let's make this program which is fit for today. And therefore, everything, it should all the components which we think are important should be here, right? So the first thing, which is that cross-disciplinary PhD training in cutting-edge science, right? So let's expose a student not just to one particular PI-driven thing, but let's put it together so they work in an environment where, and I'll elaborate on this, what I really mean. And therefore, break away from the single isolated dissertation, which I was talking about. Also, it's important that if we have to solve Indian problems, others are not going to solve our problem. We need to solve our problems, right? Because not all our programs are global, problems. And therefore, we should align what we need to our national goals as well. It's important that we make, so that then it becomes easier for them to get a jobs, because these are the needs, right? So if we align with the goals, then it would be easier for the students to get a job. Otherwise, it will be, they're trained in something, but then the jobs are limited in that particular area. The another thing which is, if you see in the West, they have immersion programs, right? And this is something new to India. So we thought, let's put this thing, enrich them with the immersion program. What it means is that send the students out in the field, right? So there are different verticals in this. There's a healthcare, there's a animal, there's agri, right? There's a social component. So there are different verticals where we would like to send the students for 3 months so that they can go learn in the field and learn how to identify their problems, right? And this not necessarily should be directly related to their PhD work, but give them this experience, right? We don't get this experience until we do, so we do most of the stuff we do in India is rote learning. We need to go learn, and that's what we write, we get the marks. If we don't do that, we don't get the marks, right? So we are trained, our minds are trained in that way that you go, sit there in the room and learn all that, and then just go and give the answers, and that's where you get the marks. But then the ground reality is we are not aware, we don't really go and learn that. And research is not about just doing that unless you understand the problems, what do are there, how you're going to solve it, right? So it's important. And this is the Western where this they send their kids early on. Actually, they expose them to immersion much earlier, even in school or in college early, right? We don't do that. So this is all about 3 months program we want to give. The other thing, we put them in room, but what about the entrepreneurship, right? It's important that not everyone would like to do and just get into the academics. They may like to do have their startups, right? They may to become actually employer, then become an employee. But then we don't expose them, right? So there's a component in this here built in where we will expose the student what is all about this, right? Network connections, very important. DBT funds it. There is a BIRAC which funds a lot of program, but students are not aware, right? Even as a faculty, for many years, I wasn't aware what the BIRAC is doing. So we want to expose the students that, look, here's the opportunity. This is also something you can think about. Of course, it's your choice whether you would like to do that. So we have set up even the time in your timetable where you will be able to, they will expose you to this. You will be able to interact with people, ask questions, whatever you have, and that's another, right? And so therefore, the whole idea is to create a human resource with futuristic values, capabilities, right? That's the whole idea, that let's put in whatever we have and do it, right? And therefore, what's the ultimate goal? As in India, we say Vidya should convert into Kala, right? So the entire goal or the motto of the program is Vidya to Kala. So let me tell you where you can do your PhD, right? You can do in any of the 15 DBT institution. Let me reiterate. It is not just single, you have to come to RCB. You can do PhD in any of the 15 DBT institutions. They are all listed here, if you see, and they are there across India, and all students know about it, or at least most of the students know about it. If you don't know, you can click a picture, take a screenshot, and you can look into that where these institutions are located and whether you would like to be part of that. But, as far as the biotechnology and bioscience is concerned, the students, you ask your seniors and they will know that the DBT institutions are on the top, right? And so therefore, now you can imagine all 15 DBT institutions coming together to offer you something which is very exciting, right? So again, you can do. And another thing, that we are not going to place you in any of the institution based on our choice. You will be the one who will choose the institutions, right? So we'll ask you your choices from 1 to 15, and you can rate them. You give your choices in order, that first, second, third, four, and then this is a 15. And depending on your performance in the interviews, how good you do, your choices will be given based on that. Okay. So I just want to make sure and clarify to you that the choices which are going to be made are not by us, but by you. Okay. So, what are the benefits? Again, if you see, again, I can take you through this. First, most important is the course curriculum, right? And I'll tell you what exactly you're going to study as well. In terms of course, we do not want to repeat, first of all, what you have already studied. right? So the first thing which was very clear in our discussion, that let's not repeat what they have learned, give them something new which they have not learned, right? We don't want to repeat that. And many a times you see that there is a course curriculum, but then you have already learned. And many of my students also used to tell me, why do I learn this again? I already know this, right? But then, that's something which was there in the curriculum where we thought we will change. We have tweaked it a little bit, but then here we try to put in something components which is what it is important that you learn. Immersion program, I already talked to you, right? That is something we have added here, right? So that you can learn, really go out there in the field, learn the ground realities, figure out the problems of India. Hands-on training, very important, because hands-on training is something which is missing until we do our masters. We go do practicals, but we don't really learn. What is most important again? One must learn all the high-end platforms, they are there, right? So we have added here the high-end technology platforms. There are 6 different platforms you're going to learn here. And this is going to be done in RCB, where we have wonderful facility, a separate facility, and those will be there. And again, this is you are going to work in a collaborative project. So they are going to be, program project, right? Mission mode projects, which we are forming. In this, there will be multiple PIs who are there, and you will be part of one PI. You will register under one PI, but depending on your work, you may work in one or more than one laboratory, and that they may or may not be in the same place. You may go even work here, partly work there, and when the discussion occurs, they will be together. So you will be part of a program, and you will be part of the discussion, and you will be able to see. So we want to expose you to a much more interdisciplinary collaborative project where you will do your PhD, you will do your work, but then you get exposed to everything. Okay. So that's the idea. And so what are the areas where we want to do? First of all, obviously, is the health, right? So health innovation. And that's, as you know, for the Rog Mukt Bharat. So we want to work on the health problems, but related to India as well. Sustainable biomanufacturing, that's another one, and biofuel production, AI-driven innovations and computational data science, and biotechnology for Jaya Shakti Nirman, right? So there you get all the different works related to agri, related to the animal health, bioresources, and so on and so forth. So there will be bigger programs, larger programs, which will be in these 4 focused areas. So as I said that you will have 4 courses, right? And what I told you is that these are not going to be the same as what you have learned. So first one is the instrumentation powered research methodology, right? So here you're not only going to learn about the particular, platforms, but you're going to do a hands-on in a workshop mode, right? So every afternoon, 5 days a week, you will be going to and working in one of these platforms. So what we want to do is not just do and show you that this is how it works, but actually we want that you do hands-on on that and really learn that, right? So all these different platforms which you see, from protein purification, optical imaging, flow cytometry, mass spectrometry, data analytics, genomics, all these we are going to expose it to you, and we are going to provide you the hands-on in this every single afternoon. Okay. Biostatistics is something which we don't teach very well. So biostatistics and data science, we have large data, and it's very important that even when you form a question and try to address, it's important to see what data is out there and do the analysis. Very critical to do the analysis, right? And this is something we would like to do. We have Indian Biological Data Center right here in RCB campus, right, where the biological data is stored. Is the only repository in India where the biological data is stored and analyzed. Will expose you to that. Will teach you how to, biostatistics, as well as how to do data science, how to analyze that data. Science communication, of course, is very, very important component once we get into this field, and ethics, equally important, right? So that also we would like to teach you, because you're not exposed to this during your master's. Translational research and entrepreneurship, right? There will be separate course, right? And these will be taught by not just RCB faculties, but faculties from various DBT institutions, right? So all they will come and then they will teach you. And there is a set program for this. So we want to expose you and make sure that in this program from August to December, you really get a very comprehensive theoretical as well as practical aspects. So once you leave here, you're ready to do and start your work in the lab, right? So we want to make you ready to start working, right? And not only on the problems what you are doing, but we want to expose you to different platforms. Of course, if these facilities you want to fall back on RCB, you can always come back and do this here, or you can do wherever you are, right? So you also know, you will know the entire team. There will be 75 students working together. You will know each one of them. You will go to different institutions, but then you will be in touch as well, right? So that's the idea, right? This is a wonderful model where you can, rub the shoulders, know each other. You have a much larger community, and then you go there and you can also help out each other. So whole idea is also to bring everyone in RCB campus is that each person should know each other and make this camaraderie one has to develop, right? This model works beautifully well. We know from other places, for example, if you see the IS cadre, you know how close they are and how closely they work, right? Because they are cadre, they work together, they study together. Immersion program I already talked to you about, and the fields like medical biotechnology, social, animal, and agri. So these are the four larger verticals where you will be able to go and work on this. Of course, every year there will be an annual conclave where the students will come and present their work, and that will rotate in different institutions, DBT institution. So maybe sometime RCB, sometimes somewhere in RGCB or NCCS or NII or ILS or various places, any of the 50 DBT institutions, you will be able to, that will be there, and you go. And we would expect that the third year, when you have significant amount of data, you will be able to present that. And fifth year, so you can come in person or you can join online. But for third and fifth year student, we would like them to come in person and present their work, and others may or may not join. They may join just the online, right? But that's the idea. So again, make this community, right? This vibrant student community, a lot of power is there. Let's bring them together. Let's do something significant, right? So question is, who is eligible, right? So as far as eligibility is concerned, master students, MSc, MTech in any of the life sciences, chemistry, physics, MPharm, MBSc, everyone is eligible, right? What also we have added here, we have also added that engineering from non-biological sciences, that is BE and BTech from non-biological sciences, will also be able to get into this program, and so is the MBBS students, right? So we are not just opening to life science students as it is usual, but we are adding also, BE, BTech from non-biological sciences and for MBBS, and we have made a separate fellowship for them, which I'll come to you in a minute, right? And the minimum qualification is, of course, 55%, and reservations and everything is as per the Government of India norms. Now, there are two tracks of admissions, track 1 and track 2. So pay attention to this before you start entering your data. Choose properly. Make sure that you are eligible for track 1 to track 2, because once you select, you will be taken further in that, and you won't be able to change once you start entering, right? So track 1 is about whosoever has the national fellowship, right? For example, DBT BET or CSR NET or UGC NET or ICMR GRF or similar fellowships, you have to have a 5-year fellowship. And once you have 5-year fellowship, you will be able to apply in track 1 mode. The track 2 mode is funded, outside government, and we got some money, and this is GN Ramachandran Fellowship, which we have instituted. This is specifically for the students BE and BTech from non-biological sciences, okay? And they can come, and also is the MBBS student. So we want them to come and also contribute to the Indian science. And therefore, this stream specifically is meant for that. Track 2, here they will be given the fellowship. So in track 1, your fellowship will depend on whatever the criteria are there, fellowship norms will prevail there. In this particular one, we will give GRF as it is listed there. GRF is 43,000 or SRF 50. They will also get contingency 1 lakh, and this is separate. They need not have their own fellowship, but if they have BTech or in non-biological sciences, okay, I'm repeating again, non-biological sciences, right? Not all BTech are eligible here, and medicine graduates, that is MBBS, okay. So here is the portal. You can take a snapshot here, i3c BRIC-RCB.AC.in. You log in there and then you can apply. That's the fellowship portal. You go in, do there, register, right, enter, and select the proper, track 1 or track 2, which applies to you, and go ahead. And if you have any questions, right, please feel free to write to us and we'll get back to you. The email ID is i3c admissions@rcb.res.in, right? So please remember this, take a snapshot. You have any question which is not answered here, come back to us and send us a mail. Or if you have any trouble in portal and you got stuck and you don't know what to do, please do write to us. We'll resolve your issue, okay? We have a team here. They'll be more than happy to help you. So screening process, we'll have 2 stages of interviews. Stage 1 will be online and the stage 2 will be in person, okay? So you will be screened first online, and then those who are selected will be called for interview in person in RCB, where all the 15 DBT institutions, they will come to RCB, they will be here, they will be happy to interact, they will have their booths, so you can go, you can interact with their faculty, talk about your doubts, find out what they are doing, what projects to offer, everything will be, so all students, we would like that they are here, they can talk in person, right? And in terms of seats, we have this year 70 for the track 1 and 10 up to 10 for track 2, okay? And the reservations, again, as I said, as per Government of India guidelines, right? So here again, students' preference for the institutes, you will have to tell us what you want, where you want to go. Select 1 to 15, first preference, second 15 up to 15, right? And once you do that, your interview merit scores will be deciding whether you get the choice you want or your second choice or third choice or fourth choice, okay? But it's not our choice, it's your choice depending on your interview score. And then once this is done, you can go to the institutions you were chosen there and activate your fellowship, right? So here are the important timelines. First and foremost, the last date of application, the deadline is 2nd June, okay? June 2nd is the deadline, so please finish your everything before 2nd June. And the June 7th is when, intimation will be sent to shortlisted candidates. That is simply based on your eligibility is there or not there. If there are any issues, then those will not be. But as long as you have all the criteria filled, you will be there. Your first interview will be from 12th and 13th June. This will be online. We'll announce a result by 15th, right? July 1st and 2nd will be second interview at RCB. So please, those who are applying, those who would like to join this, book your tickets in advance so that you don't get into trouble, okay? And declaration of the results will be July 3rd. July 3rd to 5th, the students who are here waitlisted as well as the ones who are selected, they can interact with all the 15 DBT institution faculties. They will be here. You can, talk to them, discuss with them at length. You will have sufficient time, right? So June 7 is the deadline by when we will have to finish everything, right? And waitlisted candidates, again, July 8th is what we are thinking. Deadline for waitlisted candidates is July 11th. Registrations and everything, you will have to go to individual respective institutions and finish it, from 12th to 22nd. And August 1st is your reporting date at RCB. Okay, keep that you have to be here on August 1st. Finish everything. These timelines, by the way, are also available on our website. So if you forget this for any reason, you haven't clicked a picture or taken screenshot, go back, visit our site, and you will get this, right? So thank you very much, everyone. We'll be happy to answer questions which you have, right? Again, application deadline is June 2nd, 2024. Okay, so I would like to stop here and hand over everything to Dr. Karishma, and she can take us further.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu. That was a very crisp presentation. I think all the details that are needed are there, but we will take questions, and I'd request Sam and Divya to put their videos on, if they can, please. If they can, please. Great. Good to see you, Sam and Divya. And lots of questions have been filtering in, Professor Sahu. As they come in, I just want to say a few things, that it truly looks to be a revolutionary program. For multiple reasons. At the outset, one thing I have to comment upon is the transparency with which you have listed the dates and the selection. That is very rare and very unique to see in the life science ecosystem in India. So a very good start. In addition, the multi-PI concept, the fact that irrespective of their field of study, they'll be trained in data science, science communication, and ethics, keeping it open to engineering and MBBS students, entrepreneurship focus, and immersion program included in the structure. So several revolutionary, one-of-a-kind initiatives. Exciting to see how this is going to pan out for our aspiring PhD researchers here. And I think we start with the questions now.
Sure.
So really looks to be a good, very well put together program. First question was, I'm trying to find them. There have been so many. Madhuri asks, will there be separate interviews for every institute? Or is it a common interview, this online interview?
It's a common interview. Everyone will come together, right? So online, they will be there actually. So questions will be asked by all the faculties of 15 different institutions. That will be online. And when it is offline, they will actually come to RCB and they will be here. So all the different, faculties of all 15 institutions will be involved in the entire selection process.
Okay, so then Professor Sahu, Divya and Sam, it takes care of the next question which Pooja asks. After applying to i3c, will we apply individually to every DBT institute? The answer is no.
No, so there are separate programs as well, right? So
Okay.
Here, what we are aiming for is 5 students for each institute, right?
Okay.
And normally there's about, 10 to 15 students is the intake of every individual DBT institution. And therefore, you must have seen the ads also from individual institutions. Okay. So do
Yes.
apply for that as well. So it's a sum total of both. But my suggestion would be, if I were you, I would apply into both, where I want to go as well as this, right? But then it's your choice, which program you want to join, right? I told you what is i3c is all about, right? Now it's up to you to decide whether you would like to join this or you would like to go and join some other program, right? Your choice entirely.
So what you're saying is that the independent autonomous institute applications are ongoing. They can apply there and they apply
Yes.
also to i3c, and then they
Correct.
choose what offers them a better program structure for the
Correct,
kind of
correct.
PhD they envision for themselves. Okay.
Absolutely. Including RCB, there are ads, right? So you must have seen for RCB as well, and so is for the other institutions.
Excellent. Then Umang has a question. Do the instruments and hands-on training occur only in RCB or also other DBT institutes?
No, so it's going to happen only in RCB because these 6 months course, which they have, right? Training course. that is going to have only in RCB. And we have a separate advanced technology platform center where we have high-end equipments, right? So these students will be trained there. There will be people who will be, dedicated for the training, and they will do. And these modules will involve even the basic, right? So even how to pipette from that, because some students, if I came from rural area, right? When I went to lab, I didn't know what is a pipette. I had never seen the pipette, right? So when my mentor asked, his guide, is it, do you know how to pipette? I said, no, I haven't seen this, right? So we actually want to take them through that basic module as well. So we will teach, because we'll get students at different level. We want to bring them together at the same level, right? So we'll have all that in RCB.
That sounds excellent. I mean, there's always a first time, right, for learning
Yeah.
these basic skills. So Parul asks about the form. This is about the form, Sam and Divya. Is there an option where it is asking about having a 5-year fellowship? But I have cleared DVT exam under category 2. So am I eligible for this program or not?
So I'll let Divya and Sam answer that.
Yeah, so DBT category 2 does not have a fellowship. So
Yes.
therefore, since that's not a 5-year valid fellowship,
You would not be
candidates who have
eligible.
that will not be eligible. Yeah.
I see. I see. Pulkit asks a question which is a little broad, saying that when you refer to high-end tech platforms, I understand the literal meaning, but I still want some more input. What are high-end tech? Does this include confocal microscopy, mass spec, cryo-EM?
Yes, so all of the above, whatever you said, everything is included. But Sam or Divya, go ahead and elaborate more. You need to unmute yourself.
So we have actually 7 different lab modules. The first, as Dr. Sahu mentioned, is a foundational module, which is on basic lab techniques, and DNA techniques and so on. Then you have flow cytometry. That's another module. Mass spectrometry, optical imaging, protein purification, genomics, and data analytics. So you have in total 7 such modules.
And everybody has to go through all these modules.
Correct.
Okay.
Every one of them will get to do each of these modules.
Each of these. Then there's another related question here by Siddhant, that if everybody is doing all these modules, then which institute offers which type of topics? Is there anything like that?
So Dr. Sahu mentioned, I think, that, the students who are selected for this program, they are expected to work on network programs, network projects, which will be larger projects involving multiple institutes, which will focus on a larger question, larger research problem. And therefore, depending on which institute you join, they will get, the techniques that they learn might be useful, maybe not all of them, but at least several of them. The techniques that they learn might be really useful for them to address the specific project that they join.
Yeah. So I just want to add that, doesn't matter which area you're thinking, they are pretty much all there, right? So if you're thinking immunology is there, or plant biology is there, or bio manufacturing, or this or that, pretty much everything is there. You just, once you talk, you will understand that. And why we kept this module, because see, what happens in single lab learning is that you learn 1 or 2 techniques. You don't get exposed to everything, because that's what we want to break away from that. We want to teach you everything, right? So those you have learned, those obviously will get very handy to you, but then you also know other things. Or, let's say you want to do something related to those techniques as well, you'll be able to do it, right? So that's the whole idea, is why we would like to teach everything.
Great, excellent. Then there's a question again about eligibility. Sai Adarsh asks, are those who have qualified DVT BET category 1 in 2024 but have not got the award letter, are they eligible?
Sam, Divya?
So yes, they are eligible. They can provide the award letter at the time of the second interview, which will be the final interview.
Excellent. Because
They'll
category
have to
1 means
put,
they have the 5-year fellowship.
Yes, as long as they have a valid 5-year fellowship.
and they'll have to put aggregate marks or something, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That will be in the application form. They can add their aggregate marks.
Then Shivani asks, I think, during PhD work, do we have to work in only one of the 15 DBT institutes or interact with all 15? I think we've covered this in different ways. Course modules are at RCB, it's a network and nodal project. But anything more on this? Will they have to go to several institutes?
No. So primarily they will be located in one institute, but let's say there is a component, right? So PhD, when it is carved out, there is a little component, which is they have to do in other institute. Then they will do that part there. And this, but by and large, they will be in one institute. But it may so happen that, but when there will be a discussion, it will be with everyone. So that would depend how the PhD is carved out from these programs, right? So there can be, they'll primarily one, but then they may have to go. So they should be open to go if that is required. But that's a part of the learning, right?
Sounds good. Dr. Sahu, we have lots of questions coming up, Divya and Sam, but I'll just stop here for a few minutes to maybe take them a little further in their questioning. Right now, their priority is getting in, right? Which is understandable because that is the hurdle that they immediately face. But given that this is please correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time this program has been piloted, right?
Correct.
Have you all thought about what are going to be the outcomes of the PhD, and are they going to be different depending on the DBT institute they join in terms of the number of publications they should have, any minimum citation number, and so on? So how are they going to evaluate the getting out, given that this is the first time this program is being launched?
Right. So publication, when it concerns, since this is a network project, right? And you will have to put maybe not just one component, you may have to put, so there will be a bigger, larger, and we expect much better publications here because then anything, you pull out these days, a good paper, you will see that multiple. So it will be sort of those kind of publications is what we expect. Of course, students will be there. Now, let's say if there are 3 students involved, right? All 3 of them will be first author. And we have decided that when we do, their names will be listed, alphabetically, and we will say so. So it's not that first one has little, sometimes there's a tendency of first one is better, more credit and second is less. So no, all are equal. And it will be said so explicitly in the publication.
So you have thought this aspect through?
Yes, yes.
So say someone does a PhD at NIPGR, working with plants, and somebody does it at NII, and there will be a difference in the type of publications, number of publications, simply based on the kind of project. So there's no minimum number of publications and so on. That is
no. So there's no minimum number of publication required for this project, for this program.
Okay. Then Rajalakshmi, we go back to the questions from our audience. Rajalakshmi has a question that do we choose our PI or do we choose the institute?
So you choose, your institute and not the PI, right? So you will choose the institute because you'll be interacting in different institution. And then you will choose your institute and then you will get, but then you will know upfront what that institute, you will be able to interact with them. They will be here during your interview. Your second interview, you will be able to, so that you will know what they have to offer. Each institute will have to offer.
Okay. Then Anish says, I have a 5-year fellowship, but my final exam will be conducted in last week of July. I'm assuming this means MTech final or MSc final will be in July. Am I eligible to apply?
Divya?
Yeah, so you would probably need to have, the aggregate marks for all, for the entire course, at least at the time of the final interview, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. All right.
But we can get back to you about this if the person can send us an email. then we can get back to
Sounds
you.
good. Sounds good. So maybe Anish, you can send an email about this. Then Pulkit asks, interview merit score will be used for finalization of candidates. What is this interview stage going to be about?
Interviews are going to be like regular interviews. There's nothing specific or different about these interviews. So, but then we have to draw, someone who is doing better than the other. These merit scores, that's the norm in academia, is that those who get, obviously you have to put them, first and the. So, of course, they can choose what they want. But then based on the scoring, which will be done by all the panelists who are there in the interviews, the faculties, they're going to put the numbers there and we'll have, for each one of them, their scores. And based on that is how we're going to do. But that is not going to be done by one individual. That's going to be done by the committee who's going to assess.
Okay, but would the interview be a lot of technical questions or would it be broadly to gauge the interest of the
It will be a
candidate?
mix. It will be mix of both. Mix of
Okay.
both.
Okay, all right. Bhavesh asks a question that it's like a blue sky question for a PhD researcher. Will we get to design our own project or does our PI decide our project?
So that's an interesting question, actually. That's good. In this particular I3c, we are thinking about network programs, right? Which I said, and the idea is that you become a part of, bigger so that you get exposure. We want your exposure to be as large as possible so that you get to talk to an entire team, right? This is something like program projects in US, they call program projects, where you have like 6, 7 different teams come together to do that, right? This is something like that where your exposure is much better. That's the idea. So no, I'm sorry, you will not be able to do in this particular program. But if you are interested in it, you go talk to individual PIs and in the institute, and you may find someone who would allow you to do that. So don't get discouraged. Go talk to people if that's what you want to do.
Certainly. And there are ways midway of the PhD as their skills develop to tweak the project a little bit based on their interests and leanings. But that will come after some start.
Right. I mean, as it evolves, there is always some tweaking, which is discussion goes on normally with PI and the student, but here it will be a larger group where the discussion would. So there would be some tweaking depending on the kind of results you get, right? So that's always there.
I'm skipping a few questions which are repeated, but we come to questions with the portal. Siddharth asks, I'm not able to add research papers in publication column. Only adding journal option is there. This seems a technical glitch. I'm not able to add research papers, but only journal option.
He can say, yeah, Divya Sam, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so we can send an email to i3c admissions@rcb.in and we can resolve his issue.
Okay, sounds good.
Maybe we can include a screenshot. That would be great.
Okay, maybe include a screenshot of that. Okay. Then Manish asks an interesting question. You mentioned that under the Grand Challenges India, a fund of 1.5 lakhs is available at the immersion stage. Will this be in addition to the JRF stipend or?
So thank you so much for asking that question. I somehow skipped that. So that's something which will be in addition. So there will be 1.5 lakhs for 3 months for this program. So whatever expenses which are done during this, those will be covered by that. And Grand Challenges India was very generous in providing this funding for all the students. Okay. This is in addition to your fellowship. You do not have to spend money from your fellowship for your immersion program. I hope that clarifies. Okay.
That's interesting. Great. Now, Madhuri has a question. So will the candidates who have filled out the application form, all of them be called for that first online interview? Or will there be a first round of selection even before that first online interview?
No, so it's basic eligibility criteria. If they fulfill, they all will be called for the first interview, right? There is no screening there unless
There.
they are not eligible. Yeah.
Okay. Siddharth asks, what are the prospects for track 2? I believe that means the GM Ramachandran Fellowship. For
Right.
someone from BTech background, will they work on a biomedical side, or what are the prospects?
Yeah, they will be working in one of the network projects again as a part, right? So let's say there is a, for BTech students, they come and there is biomanufacturing or those kind of things, or wherever, they can. So though they can choose, of course, they can even come to other projects where they think they can contribute to, right? So yes, they will be working in one of the network projects. There will not be a separate project. So that's what when I say, I mean, cross-disciplinary, this is what it means. We want to bring in people from different direction to answer problem.
Professor Sahu, when we talk of network and nodal projects, and you also elucidated the publication profile that the PhD scholar can expect at the end of this training, it seems to me that they will be consortia kind of papers.
Right.
Because these are collaborative projects. In any case, they'll be multimodal, multinodal. How do you, and again, I'm asking on behalf of the PhD scholars because they may not be able to think that further, and we, having traversed the path, can look back. How do you think consortia papers will influence their career prospects post PhD when it comes to getting postdocs or faculty positions? What are your thoughts on that? Have you all thought this through in the program?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, you see, when you go for postdoc, the mentors, when wherever you go, what they look for is what kind of training you have, right? They are very keen in, they are not really keen in giving you basic training on in anything, right? So first thing, they look at your CV and say, well, whether this person is trained in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, what they require. That's very critical for them. So they look, that is first aspect. Second is that how do they know that indeed you worked in this, right? What is the proof that you can write 10 things? And therefore, to back that, you need to have publication. So they look for publication. They also look, where have you published, right? So then they know that, okay, this paper is published in good, so there must be pretty good scrutiny of your paper. They must be from a very good group, because otherwise they would not be able to do this kind of work, right? So all these are the criteria when you go for postdoc, they look, right? And actually, if you are from a good lab, they don't even look at your publication. If they know your lab, they give you postdoc without publication because they are more keen in your training. Okay, so that's what counts. But by and large, if they don't know your lab, they would certainly like, but your publication will tell them that, yes, you have undergone a really rigorous training, right? So that would be a plus actually, and not minus for them.
And how many years do you anticipate an i3c PhD will take?
5 years.
5 years is what you're looking
Yeah.
at. But it does look
Right.
to be a very well-structured program for 5 years.
Right.
Definitely. Okay. Then Adesh asks, can travel and stay expenses by the program be borne if a student gets to attend an international conference like EMBO, etc.? So is there any component in the contingency?
Well, individual institutions have these plans, right? And these will be, so depending on what the institution, which, almost all DBT institutions have this for their own students. They may vary a little bit here and there, but they do have this, and they will all become same actually. As I speak, there is a discussion going on to make it at par. There will be a component, but that will not be covered by i3c as a separate grant. That will come from your individual institute. So whatever rules and regulations they have, or whatever provisions they have, they will provide you. Okay, the institutions will provide you.
We provide you, not from i3c. Fair enough. Prashansha has a practical question about, you mentioned hostel will be provided only in the start. Are hostels not provided for the entire PhD course?
No, they'll be there in the sense like, 6 months when they are with us, we have to provide a hostel for them, right? And
Okay.
in India, all the PhD programs are residential programs. So if you look into any of the DBT institutions, they do have hostels, right?
Okay.
So yeah, when they go to individual institutions, there will be hostels available.
Okay. Sounds good. Shubhadeep asks, he has an ICMR JRF, but no rank. So how does he enter this into the application?
Divya and Sam?
Yeah, so if he has any score that he can add, he can include that information in the portal. If not, if he can proceed without adding that information, I'm not sure if that's a mandatory requirement. So if it's not, he can bypass that question. Otherwise, he can add maybe a dash or some numbers over there, so that it will allow him to proceed in the application. 0 would be the best. Yeah.
But he has to have a 5-year valid fellowship, right? Because if there is a category which I'm not aware, where they don't give score because they are not giving fellowship, then he'll not be eligible. He has to have a valid 5-year fellowship. Like category 2 in DBT, sort of they do not get fellowship, right? Those students are not eligible for this.
Yes. Okay. So I think a question about what do I need to know for the interview stage? I think it's a combination of technical information as well as your overall interest in the program and so on.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a common interview, Adina. It's a common interview that will be conducted. Please, I think this is an interesting question that hasn't come up. Anmol asks, can you tell us more about the immersion program? Like, will we get to interact with biotech companies? What exactly does this immersion mean?
Yeah, so for there are different verticals. I mentioned that there's a healthcare is one. There's a agri, which is there, right? There's a for the animal side, veterinary component, social component. So let's say there is a social component, then they can go work with NGOs, right? And go and figure out the social problems. Or if there is a healthcare, right? Then they go and work with the community medicine students. They go actually to the field and they go there, right? And then work. So they will really learn that, they actually what is out there, what are the problems, right? And that's what is important, because we don't want to send them to a laboratory where there is, because they have gone 3 months, 6 months training. They are already, it seems many of the students have seen lab. We don't want to send them back to lab again. We want to send them to field. In each module, they will go interact with people. They can, have, interviews. There will be different mode of data collection. And so those programs will be given to them, what they can do when they join. They will know about each vertical, what is there to offer, and then they will go collect the data, interact with people, write a report. Okay. And they need to submit that report. They will be given marks on that, grades on that. They will also need to present. And we'll try if we can bring together everyone. If not, we'll figure it out. If we can do online, we'll work out those modalities. But the idea is also to learn from each. There has to be experiential learning, right? Go out there in the field and do that, right? So that's what I would like to add. But they will know, before going there, they will know exactly what the program is all about.
What comes across to me that the program is very well structured and will really bring the best out of a student who enjoys structure and accountability in their PhD training. And honestly, if such a program existed when I finished my MBBS, I may not have left India. So I don't know if you want to take this as a testimonial for i3c RCB BRIC. Okay. Coming back to some questions, Siddharth has an interesting question. After 5 years, will we get the PhD degree from RCB or from the parent institute?
They will get their PhD degree from RCB. So they will activate their fellowship from the individual institute, but they will be registered at RCB. All the 15 DBT institutions, they all are registered with, they're affiliated to RCB. So degree will go from RCB.
Okay.
And RCB has UNESCO, the category 2 UNESCO center. So it has international standing. So the degree they get is something, they can be proud of.
Certainly. Arushi asks, the SOP part in application should be focused on the project. Yeah, so how will the SOP affect the screening process? Now, because they're applying to 15 institutes.
Well, they are applying, SOPs. We are asking to know their thought processes, why they are keen, right? And it's quite possible that, some of the questions may come from their SOPs, since they have written to understand their thought process as well, right? And so there won't be a big bearing on what they write, but we want to understand the thought process of the student, right? Screening is not going to be made based on the SOP. Okay, so let me put that very clearly, that the screening is, we are not going to screen them out because they haven't written a very good SOP. But the whole idea is to understand their thought process, why they want to do PhD, what they want to do in PhD, right? And it's a good exercise they must learn, because that will become very handy when they go further in their career. This question people will keep asking them again and again, right?
Certainly. And in some form or the other, you don't
Yes.
write SOPs after grad school. I don't think we write SOPs, but you'll always be asked, why do you want this job? Why do you want this opportunity?
Yeah.
Sorry, Arushi, you were saying something? No, Arushi was not saying. Okay. All right. Yeah, we are all done with the SOP phase. So SOP is important, but it's not a deal breaker. Manish has a specific question about how he has a job and he will need to give a notice period. So how will that affect his qualification into the program if he's currently working in a job?
Well, we are starting, as I said, from August 1st, right? So
yes,
he will have to be here August 1st, because this coursework will start. So whatever it is that he will have to figure out at his end, I don't know. But we want all the students here on August 1st.
Yes, so at RCB on August 1st.
At RCB, yes.
Yes, so okay, first they will start at RCB. I think answers that few other questions. So Pulkit asked a question, all of you, about the network projects. Have you sort of come up with a list of these projects that connect all the DBT institutes?
Yes. So, many are under finalization, right? So there will be a funding for these projects also from DBT, right? And so Secretary DBT is taking personal interest, right? These are finalized, right? So these will be, selected. There will be a good amount of funding, and all these networks projects will be selected, right? So there are many which are under discussion, right? All I can tell you that, the fine tuning is something which is going on at this point.
Sounds good. Okay. Minhaz asks, can you please explain the scholarship schemes one more time? That category A, category 1, category 2.
Yeah. So sure. So category 1 is basically anyone who is a life science, where they have 5 years valid fellowship, like DBT, like, CSIR, like ICMR. Likewise, they have that money. Life science students know very well. They are eligible under the track 1. In track 2, this is only meant for the MBBS students and the students who are BE and BTech from non-biological sciences. Okay.
Like computer science, electrical engineering.
Right, correct. So those are the one, not, let's say, for example, if they are, BE, BTech in biotech, then those are not eligible. They will be in the category 1. They will have to have, because there is a fellowship already there. They can clear the exam and get the fellowship, right?
Exactly.
For non-biological sciences, BE and BTech, you don't really have, you have GATE, but you don't get their money, right? You have to have, so that's the idea, to get them in so that we get, students from BE, BTech as well.
Sounds good. Shalini asks, what is the fee structure for this program? Is there a fee structure?
Yeah. So Divya, Sam, or Shivram is also there. So Shivram is the professor here, and he also happens to look after as a registrar. He helps me out. So Shivram, you can tell us.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm a colleague of Sam and Divya. Karishma, if you wouldn't mind, could you please repeat that question?
What is the fee structure, Shivram?
Oh, yeah. So the fee structure, as it says on the website as well, will be the same as per extant RCB norms. Right? It's not been listed out there yet, but this is defined by a board of studies of RCB. And I don't recall the exact figures right now. It's quite reasonable compared to, let's say, the ICERs, etc. But that will be the fee structure that will be followed for everybody who enrolls.
Yeah. If anyone wants specifically to know, they can send us a mail and we can send out the answer.
Yes.
And
then there's another question. Rusha, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, if I may just add to the previous answer Dr. Sahu gave about the category 1. He mentioned life sciences, but the eligibility is not limited to life sciences. It is almost all the natural sciences. It's written in the advertisement and the portal: physics, chemistry, and etc., MTech, MPharm, etc., whatever is listed there. But these are all mostly the natural sciences and the biological sciences.
Okay. So it's quite broad. Category 1 is quite broad.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam, for clarification.
Yeah, and there's one more clarification. So there was a question where the person asked whether they have to report at RCB first or the parent institute. So after they are allotted their institute, they should go to their parent institute to activate their fellowship and register there, and then come to RCB for the coursework for 6 months.
Okay. But the reporting on August 2nd is at RCB.
At RCB, yes.
August 1st.
August 1st. Oh.
But they must visit their parent institutions before that and activate their fellowships, because for the entire 5 years, the fellowship will be administered by the institute where they register. It will come from there to their bank accounts, etc. RCB will not be disbursing the money. So it's very critical that they go to their parent institutes and activate the fellowships there, and then come to RCB for the first semester.
I see. Okay. So that they get paid when they are reaching RCB on August 1st. They have a system to get paid. That makes sense. Okay. So Rushali asks, a valid CSIR fellowship, activated JRF, can they apply for i3c? They have activated the CSIR fellowship somewhere as a JRF. Can they now apply for this?
But they have to have 5 years valid fellowship. So if they have already activated, then they have used some component of that already, right?
Yeah.
So that would not work here.
I see. Another interesting question. What is the difference in the two? Please go ahead.
Sorry. Yes,
I just want to add that if this person has another fellowship which they haven't activated, they could use that to register for the RCB, the i3c program.
Like GATE, like ICMR.
It should have a valid 5-year fellowship. But if often students have more than one fellowship, so they could use another one that they have not activated.
Okay. And I think one important question was, what is the difference in the two interviews? There's this initial online interview and there is a subsequent in-person interview, from what I understood of the flow chart. What's going to be the difference?
So, by and large, the first interview would be more general sort of, aptitude, kind of, to understand the thought process and some basic questions, those about. The second one would be more subject specific. Yeah. So so this will be different. There will be, of course, a mix of things, but it will be more oriented towards more, specific subject they are interested in. And initial will be just in general to understand, whether the student overall, how the student is.
Yeah, I mean, understands what it takes to do a PhD, what kind of commitment is needed, and so on. So Siddharth has a question that you very strongly mentioned that RCB has this UNESCO accreditation and that makes it a very sought after institute, but he really wants to know exactly what is that USP of RCB. What makes it sought after to say that you get a PhD degree from RCB?
Well, it's a UNESCO center, right? So if anyone who sees the UNESCO logo worldwide understands what the UNESCO stands for, because you have to have a set standard, right? So UNESCO has a set standard and everyone understands what that standard is. So that is a differentiating factor, right? So if once you see that, right, I can tell you, if I go and give somebody asks me visiting card, they said, and the moment they look at it, say, oh, you are UNESCO center, okay. So, just a logo, when you see, they recognize world over, they recognize, that it's there. So they know that there is the standard, right? Minimum benchmarking is there. That is there in their head. They understand, okay, who these people are. So that's the difference.
Yes, certainly, certainly. So we are actually closing in on 3:15. So we'll take a few more questions that haven't been touched on before. So there's a long question about the Category 2 DBT fellowship. We said Category 2 are not eligible to apply. Category 2. Why so? They've also written some statement from the website that says they can be appointed in DBT projects and so on. But specifically, why aren't Category 2 students eligible to apply?
Anyone wants to answer? Maybe.
So the only reason is that Category 2 does not bring in a fellowship, and a valid 5-year fellowship is required. Category 2, yeah, while it is written that you are eligible to join projects, there is no real fellowship that the program itself, Category 2 itself brings, just because of qualifying it. You can join a project where there is already funding. So if there's a extramural grant or something like that, where there is already funding, you can join that, and maybe as part of that, you can register for PhD. And this
but not
is
through i3c.
Not through i3c, and this is based on our, RCB's ordinances as well.
I see. Okay, that's a good clarification to have. A few more questions. So they can, for example, apply to NIPGR directly also. They can apply to NIPGR through i3c also. So will i3c give any extra fellowship or scholarship other than the immersion, which we said Grand Challenges is giving 1.5 and so on? Anything else per month?
No, in terms of monetary money wise, no extra except Grand Challenges gets covered. But the structure of the program is completely different here, right? So now the students need to think and debate what they would like to do, right? So, but there's no extra money per se if they join here.
That is clear, but it definitely seems like a very structured PhD.
Yeah.
Yes. Another question is when as few more questions trickle in, when they come to time for setting up this PhD committees, for example, their candidacy committee or their defense, how will that work? Again, will they be expected to have committee members across BRIC?
Well, those will be decided at the institute, right? And and the institution norms will prevail there. Which are there, but since they are RCB students, our ordinance and statutes, we have specific that who should be the part of the committee, right? So there is a definition. We don't identify people, but we say that if the committee is there, who should be there. Divya, Sam, or Shivram, you want to add the SAC committee members?
Yes, so as Dr. Sahu said, this is defined in the RCB ordinances and statutes. RCB exists through an act of parliament. So these ordinances and statutes and regulations are the rules set as part of that act, which we are required to follow. So there is a specific composition of the committee given for a student advisory committee. In that, I may not be able to recall it correctly. I think there should be one professor. Of course, the guide is there and one other member at least. And I think the PI is free to add more members if the technical expertise requires it. And the SAC committee must meet once every year. That is a requirement.
So this is all laid out in RCB norms.
Yes, it's laid out. And one of these members also has to be external to the host institution. So it's all laid out, and this will be given to the students in the orientation packet and communicated to the institutes.
I see. Okay. So lots of thank yous coming in for the event, for the session. So that's great. I have to thank you all, actually. It's a little, we have a little more time, but so Arunima asks, when I go to the parent institute to activate my stipend, do I have to register under a PI then or after the program?
No, right then.
Program.
No. So once they go to the institute, the PI will be there, right? Yeah. So there will be a PI in the institute during activation. Yes.
No, there will be a PI. Okay.
There will be
Okay.
PI.
Okay. Good to know.
So I can just add there, I think many of the fellowships require a PI to be specified. So to activate the fellowship, they would need to mention who is the PI.
See. Okay. Okay. I mean, we have a few minutes. We've taken a lot of questions. And yeah, we also have a feedback form added in the chat window. Really do take the effort to give us feedback, because we curate these sessions based on your feedback, and they are always, they get better based on your feedback. But any closing remarks, Divya, Shivram, Sam, Professor Sahu, any closing remarks for I3C?
So, you go ahead, Divya, Sam, Shivram, and
Well, nothing much to add, but in case some people logged in late and missed some questions, all of these details are there on the RCB website. If you go to the academics under programs, this is the first program listed, and you'll find all of these details listed over there. The email ID is also there in case you would like to write to us for any queries. Also, most of these queries are also there in an FAQ section on the same website. So in case you missed it, you can read it there. From another similar event that we had about a week ago, many FAQs were uploaded there. Many are overlapping now. We'll try to incorporate the new ones as well. So that should take care of most questions, but please write to us if you have anything that we could not address.
Excellent.
yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense to do this kind of outreach for a pilot program, right? Because even you wouldn't know the kind of questions that the community will have. Yeah. So excellent.
Sam?
No, so we have been getting, amazing response from the students, but just one request is to apply well in advance of the deadline. Don't wait for the last minute. Maybe whoever is interested, and make your, complete your application so that, it comes through and there are no hitches at the last minute.
I mean, it's 31st May today. What more last minute can it be? The deadline is 2nd June. So yeah, the time to apply is now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all I want to say is thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. And I hope I did a job to tell you really what the I3C is all about. I hope I was clear. If not, please do write to us, email us. So anything which missed out, we'll be more than happy to answer those. And we all are very excited. All the deputy institutions are pretty excited about this new program. And we would like to see you here. So go ahead, apply, and see you at RCB. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful, Professor Sahu. It is an exciting program, certainly. And it's exciting to think of the kind of PhD experiences it will give in the life sciences in India. And it could actually become a template.
Yes.
For multiple PhD programs in the country. And there's been a lot of conversation about structured PhD programs, getting people out on time, and so on. And this could be, steps in those directions. So as the thank yous are coming in, Divya, any closing remarks?
Yeah, as Sam said, apply early. And if you have any issues with the application portal, please don't hesitate. Write to us at i3cadmissions@rcb.res.in, and we will resolve your issues as soon as possible.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So great to see the kind of, the commitment to this program from those who are leading it right at RCB. All right, I think we are going to close, everyone, if we don't have any new questions, but lots of thank yous are coming in. So thank you to you all. Professor Sahu, Sam, Divya, and Shivram, thank you for your time. We made this happen. We pulled it together. Thank you, Arushi, for being on board and pulling this together with me. And thank you for Team IndiaBioscience to pushing the publicity on social media and our email campaign. So thank you so much to all of you.
I just want to add, Karishma, there are few people who have been putting it on the chat box. Where is the recording going to be available? So it will be available on IndiaBioscience website and also on the YouTube channel of IndiaBioscience. So if you've missed any part of the session, you can always go back and watch it later.
Sounds good. Yes. Okay, so shall we then close?
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Karishma and Arushi. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
hosting
much.
this program.
So it was a pleasure, Professor Sahu and the RCB team, and we look forward to staying in touch and
Yeah,
doing more such
sure.
sessions together. Thank you very much to everyone who joined,
Thank
and
you.
thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Pleasure is all.
Thank you.